Hello there. I'm giving myself over to the absolute pleasure of meeting Richard O'Brien, who's the mastermind behind the cult musical Rocky Horror Show. Thank you for coming along to Raj TV, Richard.
It's my great pleasure.
First of all, can I ask you what it was that inspired you to write the musical in the first place?
Unemployment. I was out of work and I was sitting at home wondering whether I should go back to New Zealand and do a proper job, and whether I'd been deluding myself staying in showbiz, and sat down and wrote the Rocky Horror Show to see whether I had any kind of future in this wacky old world of showbiz.
Great stuff, and of course it was turned into a film a few years after you wrote it.
Yeah.
So you actually starred as Riff Raff in that. How did that all come about?
Well, organically, really. We took the show to Los Angeles, and our producer there was a man called Lou Adler, who was a record producer, and he had the theatre, and he had the contacts with the showbiz and film industry in Los Angeles, and it all kind of grew naturally. The strangest thing was that this little kind of lunchtime theatre event, this really small fringe theatre event, should be allowed to be made into a musical, given $1.25 million, and we can keep our cast, our original cast. It doesn't make any sense.
The original Broadway cast.
Well, the original London cast.
Right, the original London cast. Sorry, yes. And what were the early reactions to the show when it first came out?
It was an exceptionally hot ticket. The word of mouth was fantastic. We opened and we played our first 5 weeks jam-packed every night. It was just wonderful.
Okay, and over the years, obviously it's been going for more than 30 years, how has it actually evolved?
Well, sadly to say, it started to feed upon itself, and people were starting to bring things that they thought were witty to the events, and that they weren't necessarily, and there was an awful lot of excess that had crept into it. And what we've done with this show is given the actors an original Virgin script and said, look, let's do the show as it really was intended. Let's get just as much fun in it and just as much rock and roll out of it as we possibly can, and laughter and all the rest of it, but let's take it a little more seriously, because then it becomes funnier. Because clunky dialogue, you see, the B movies, that's the idea this comes from. Nobody wanted to be in a B movie, they wanted to be in an A movie. But they had this wooden dialogue, this clunky dialogue, and they had the clunky kind of narrative, but they wanted to be so wonderful, so they became even more intent on being a great actor, but with this dreadful dialogue, and it became, unintentionally funny.
It comes send-up.
Yes, exactly, but it comes, and it becomes funnier because of it. Play it seriously. So that's what we're doing with this one.
And could you tell us a little bit about what the story involves?
Well, it's a rites of passage. It's a young couple who set off on their adventure of life and discover, just Brad and Janet, and they discover that growing up is, when you leave childhood behind, adolescence behind, and the world isn't a particularly pretty place, and and their lives change. It's that journey. It's Adam and Eve, and the serpent is Frankenfurter. It's Babes in the Wood, and the wicked old lady living in the gingerbread house is Frankenfurter. It's that similar kind of journey.
Sorry.
Yes.
But how do you think this one will be different?
I think that the nice thing about this is you've got to always remember that 25% of your audience may well be hard dive fans, But that means 75% of your audience are not. And with this show, the 75% of the audience get a good show, because a lot of the times they were going to see the other show, they couldn't hear the show because of the noise coming from the fans and the noise coming from the stage. And what we've done is got a show now that's got some gaps in it, some air between the lines, and we can follow the storyline, the plot a lot clearer.
Because it goes at breakneck speed, obviously, and there's lots of laughs and riotous
we like all that. We don't want to stop any of that.
Absolutely not, no. Great. Well, and can I just ask you, what are your favourite songs from the production?
The superhero song at the end I like very much. The last song.
To Feast.
Yes, I like that song very much. And Time Warp, of course, is always a crowd pleaser.
I think everyone knows the Time Warp. Yeah. It's succeeded so many generations of student balls and things like that.
Weddings and bar mitzvahs.
Running the gamut. Okay, well, wonderful. I wish you all the success with this run. You're in Birmingham from the 2nd to the 13th of May at the Alex, and then around the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so wonderful. Thank you. And that's great.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm feeling decidedly underdressed here with some die-hard fans of the Rocky Horror Show. As you can see, they've all come along to enjoy it today. So, first of all, can I turn to you and ask you what you enjoy most about this show?
Well, it's a I've been going to Rocky Horror for about 20 years, and it's a real combination of sort of old fairy tale and gothic horror and science fiction. It's got everything in it that I'm interested in, and fantastic music. And it's ever changing, but it's also got the same magic. And I think that's the same for all of us.
And who have you come dressed as today?
Today I'm dressed as Magenta.
Magenta, who's obviously one of the employees of Frank-N-Furter.
She is. It's not my usual character, but I thought I'd go for a change for this production.
Excellent. Well, you look lovely, so thank you for taking the time and trouble to come along. And may I ask you who you've come as today?
On the usherette.
Oh, you're the usherette in the...
We've also finished it.
Okay. And you're actually in this performance?
I would love to be though.
Why do you like Rocky Horror so much?
It's just the whole thing of the Rocky Horror Show. It's a dressing up, it's the meeting. We've been friends for over 20 years and we've brought the whole range of people together over the years, and the show is fantastic, the songs are fantastic, and it's just brilliant.
And do you follow it around the country at all?
We follow around the country.
Yeah, we all do.
Armed with your rice and your toast and everything?
We don't tend
No,
to
we don't.
take props.
No.
Okay, that's a bit tacky.
We sort of discourage that because for the live show, because it's dangerous for the crew, and you find that most of the old-term fans appreciate that a bit more. That's great in the cinema because you're not hurting anyone, but you have to be very careful with props to throw in the theatre. We usually just rely on some carefully placed callbacks.
Wonderful. And you're obviously coming to watch it at the Alex here in Birmingham?
Yes, well, we're all going to be here for
Doing
that.
3 nights at the Alexandra Theatre. We're off to Woking next week, then Southampton. We've done Roxford and Brighton so far.
Well, die-hard fans, and long may Rocky Horror reign. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And here we have, last but not least, the second usherette. Tell me, why do you like Rocky Horror so much?
Because it's sex, drag and rock and roll, and it's a great night out.
Need to say no more.
We've got a wee quiz which you might or may not, wish to enter into. We'd rather hoping you will. What are the names of the major characters? Is it Majors and Weiss? Is it Sugar and Spice? Or is it Naughty and Nice? Answers, please, on the web. Details coming up.